Welcome to r/legal advice, where we read surprisingly interesting stories that don't end in a cliffhanger, I promise. If you are new around here, please feel free to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right in. A guy drove off with my couch while I was moving in because if it is on the street corner, it's public property. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. I just moved to Nevada and it was just me and a couple friends unloading. So we left some things on the street next to the moving truck while we did heavier items like desks, shelves, etc. as a team. I came out after bringing in some more boxes, had been gone roughly 15 minutes, to find that the guy had loaded my couch into the bed of his truck. I ran up to him and explained I own the couch. He said since it was on the street corner, it is public property and he is within his rights to take it. He drove off before I could block his car. I did get his license plate and went to the police to make a report, but they asked me if it was in fact on the curb and I said it was, but it was also pretty obviously next to a moving truck. It was wrapped up and surrounded by boxes. And I told him it was mine and I was moving, but the police did not say anything that inspired hope. The couch has been in the family 3 generations now, and while it probably is not worth more than a few $100, it is sentimentally priceless. Is there anything else I can do or further ways to escalate this to get my couch back? Guys, is there any piece of furniture in your house or apartment that has a sort of sentimental value to you? Let us know in the comments. Update: a guy drove off with my couch while I was moving in. Thank you to the user who suggested I look in the Facebook marketplace. I found it in there and got the name of the man who took it. I took that information to the police and the man had other complaints of petty theft against him. Even better, one of the people who helped me move realized my neighbor has a video doorbell and I was able to get proof to the cops that the man stole my couch with me standing right there with a moving truck and boxes. A friendly officer went to his house and got my couch back, as well as a few other stolen outdoor furniture pieces. One was a bench from a local restaurant. I don't know the other situations. I deeply appreciate your legal advice. I now won't have to tell my parents the beloved multi-generational couch is gone. Cheers. Guys, have you ever bought something from the Facebook marketplace? I gotta admit, here in Europe I've never done that, but in Asia, especially in Thailand, the Facebook marketplace is great, even if you want to buy big things like a car or motorcycles. I'm pretty sure that eBay does not operate within Southeast Asia, so I think Facebook marketplace kind of replaces eBay in that region. My ex is saying that she lives with me and that I am abusive. Police kicked me out of my own house. My ex broke into my house while I was sleeping. I woke up to her watching TV with my son. I took my son in his room and told her that she needed to leave immediately. She starts screaming, telling me to stop hitting her and she is sorry, all while hitting me. I did not hit her. I'm a big dude and would probably send her flying. I just threw my hands up to avoid any hits to the face/throat area. I ended up putting her in a bear hug to stop all the hitting. Obviously, someone called the police because they thought I was murdering her. She told the police that I was her husband, I was drunk, violent, and that she was scared I would hurt our kid. Police told me to kick rocks and if she had to call again, they would lock me up. I tried to explain that I was the owner of the house and that we were not married. They brushed me off. Now she is in my house with my kid. I cannot go back or else I'm going to jail and my neighbors think I am a woman beater. How do I navigate this? The best advice I could find in the thread was posted by Grasshopper1 and he said hire a lawyer, file for an emergency custody order and file for a protection order. So let's see what OP did. Update to the story from before. I went to the police station with my exes, the mother of my child's parents, with proof of my ownership of the house, driver's license, my taxes to show my filing status, and video of her breaking in. They brought her mail that was addressed to their house, not mine. I threw a fit and essentially told them to get her out of my house or else I was going to sue. I have no idea if I actually can or not, but it seemed scary enough. I showed them my bruises and scratches from her attacking me, and eventually they relented. We went to my house, I let them in, and they went to remove her. They arrested her, CPS is now involved, and I am on my way to a lawyer consultation. Thanks for all the help everyone, hopefully this will be my last update. And guys, indeed this was the last update, so let's hope the situation is resolved. By the way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you for the crazy amount of support lately, and a huge thank you and welcome to everybody who joined our community in the last few months. In January alone, we have gained over 3,000 new subscribers, which is absolutely insane. Considering suing my uncle after he intentionally fired an air horn meant for bears in my ear, and now I have what appears to be a permanent ringing in my ear. I have a big family with around 20 cousins, 10 aunts and uncles, and several others who always show up to family reunions. I am a male in my 20s. Last weekend we had a family reunion in a cabin resort in the woods. On the last night there, while everyone was sitting by the campfire, my uncle, by marriage, snuck up behind me and blasted an air horn about a foot or two away from the back of my head. This air horn was not a normal little one you often see at sporting events. This campground has bears around, so they keep several large air horns around the place to be used to scare off a bear in case they get too close. As soon as he did it, everyone called him an a-hole and got angry at him. He showed no remorse whatsoever, he laughed about it, telling us how he and his friends from work have blown air horns at each other before as a prank. I was so furious when it happened that I did not know what to do. I sat there quietly stewing in my rage for a while. I wanted to beat the crap out of him or hold him down while I emptied half of the air horn directly into his ear. But instead I walked away eventually and spent the rest of the night in my room. It is important to know that this uncle was hosting this reunion. It is a corporate retreat campground that his company lets employees use. He clearly knew he effed up because he attempted to apologize the next day, but it was a pretty crappy apology. While everyone was sitting down for breakfast, he snuck up behind me, put his arms on my shoulders and quietly said, "I heard your ears were ringing, sorry about that." He did not even say it to my face or say it loud enough for anyone else to hear. I grumbled something about, "It's okay," but I absolutely do not forgive him. This happened last Saturday, a week ago. For the first couple days my ears were literally sore and any loud noises were painful to hear. Since then my ears have been constantly ringing. It is the worst when I am in a quiet environment, like trying to work or go to sleep. I hear this high-pitched sound that is driving me nuts. Sometimes it will start to subside, but it still comes and goes. I think I could have permanent hearing damage. This guy has been giving me crap since I was a young kid, so this was not a one-time occurrence, though this was definitely the worst thing he has done to me by far. I have contacted a personal injury lawyer in my area to learn about my options, but I figured some people here might have good info as well. What the OP is talking about is basically tinnitus, right? You know guys, ever since I have seen a YouTube video about tinnitus, I'm actually not 100% sure whether or not I have it. When I really concentrate and don't listen to anything else, I have a sort of constant, I would probably call it wave sound in my ears, basically as if I am listening to the ocean 24/7. But I've had this since basically forever, so I don't even know if that is special or not. If you know more about this, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And the update to the story from before. I promised an update, so here it is. First off, I want to thank everyone who strongly suggested I go see a doctor ASAP. I went to see an ENT and audiologist approximately a week and a half after the incident occurred. My hearing test came back normal, which was very reassuring. The tinnitus was still quite bad, so I wanted to see if the doctor could help with that. He put me on a steroid cycle for a week and a half, which just ended yesterday. I saw him again a week after the first visit and we decided to try a steroid injection directly into both eardrums. This was a very unpleasant experience, as you can probably imagine. The ringing has gone down considerably and I am hopeful it will eventually be completely gone. It still bothers me at night, and while I am trying to work sometimes, the biggest problem lately has been that these steroids cause insomnia, so I haven't gotten a good night's sleep in weeks. This has caused me to have to cancel a summer project, since at this point I'm far too behind schedule to complete it. My uncle has agreed to pay for all medical costs. I'm not planning on suing him, he knows he effed up and was apparently crying on the phone when my parents called him to tell them what I was going through. My aunt has also had a really rough time since finding out the extent of the damage. I have not talked to either of them since it happened and don't plan on talking to him anytime soon. They have offered to call me and apologize, but I don't want to talk to them. I just don't want to be around the guy after what he did to me. I will probably end up spending some holidays alone, but I don't care. F that guy, thanks for hearing my story and for all the advice. I followed and reported a drunk driver, then I got a ticket for driving past curfew. Last week I was driving home from my friend's house when I noticed someone driving very erratically. They were swerving when there was nothing to avoid and they could not stay in their lane, so I called the police and followed them. The police caught up to us after a while and they pulled over the driver. It turns out that he was extremely drunk, and when they gave him the sobriety tests he failed them miserably. He was arrested and the police asked me to write a statement and give them my information. I gave one of the cops my driver's license. I am under 18, so he could copy my address, and he said that I was not allowed to be driving because it was past 11. I told him that I would have been home by 11, but I noticed the drunk driver and I did not want someone to get hurt, so I followed them. Plus, when I called them they asked me to keep following the man even though it was technically past curfew. The officer said that it did not matter, even if me driving past curfew meant that World War III was prevented, that the law is the law and that he had to give me a ticket because I broke the curfew. He said he would have to give me another ticket if I drove home myself, so I called my parents and they came and picked me up and drove the car I was driving home. This feels so wrong. I did a good thing and I'm getting punished for it. Am I really going to have to pay this ticket, or is there some way out? I'm thinking of calling the police station and asking them to reduce the fine, but at this point I'm really anxious because I have to mail something back to the court in a few days, otherwise I will get arrested and I don't know what to do. I am in Pennsylvania, if it matters. Honestly, as a European, I'm kind of surprised that there is something like a curfew in America, but let's see how the story continues. I followed and reported a drunk driver. Update. I took the advice that I was given and I pled not guilty. Last week I went to court and here is what happened. I brought copies of my cell phone's call log showing that I called 911 before curfew, as well as the same records from my carrier. I also got a copy of the drunk driver's criminal complaint with the help of the court clerk, and I printed out a copy of the justification law. The hearing started with the officer saying that I was pulled over on the side of the road, that he went to investigate why I was there, and that I voluntarily confessed to driving past curfew. He said that was all he needed to prove in order to prove my guilt and basically left it at that. Then it was my turn to speak. I said that while I did drive past curfew, it was because I had noticed an erratic driver and I was following him because I thought he was going to hurt someone. I felt that if I had let the man go, that he would kill somebody, and that 911 had told me to keep following him. I gave my evidence to the judge and to the police officer, and I said that I would have been home on time if not for the drunk driver. I argued that I had a reasonable belief that the man was very drunk and that the police are accusing the driver of being very drunk. The judge asked the officer about the driver and he confirmed the .12 BAC. Finally, I brought up the justification defense. I argued that driving past curfew was a summary offense and that drunk driving was at minimum a misdemeanor and at worst a first-degree felony if he killed someone. I said that the law clearly provided a defense to my conduct because drunk driving was clearly the greater of the two evils and because I drove in an otherwise safe manner. The judge agreed and found me not guilty. He said that I had proven my defense by a preponderance of the evidence and that I had done the right thing. I'm going to get my collateral back in the mail in a few days and my record is clean. And guys, unfortunately, this has to be the last story for today. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you're not subscribed yet, I would be so happy if you could subscribe. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.